Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's Dance Life Love TV, and today we're going to talk about how you should react to the coronavirus pandemic. All right guys, so as you know, coronavirus is out there and it's been talked about. You've been getting emails about it. People have been shutting down stores or reducing store hours, and so people are a bit in a frenzy about it. So I want to talk to you guys about how to react in this time and how you can remain safe and remain in peace. So I'm going to be giving you guys 5 tips on how you should react to this coronavirus pandemic. Now, so just disclaimer, this is my advice and I do my best to give out wisdom and knowledge to the best of my ability. If it resonates with you, great. If it doesn't resonate with you, then that's fine. You can go to another video and watch that. But for those that it does, stay tuned and watch all the way to the end. All right, so number one is fear not and trust God. Fear not and trust God. I say this because I see a lot of people freaking out, going in fear, being in a frenzy, buying up a whole bunch of stuff, buying more than what they need because they feel as though they are going to miss out on something or they're not going to have enough. I say this, do not fear. God has not given you the spirit of fear. God has given you the spirit of power, love, peace, and of a sound mind. There is no reason for you to be freaking out, particularly if you are a Christian and you do believe in God and you believe in God's power. There's no reason why you should be in a frenzy. Now, this doesn't mean that you don't take practical steps and you don't keep yourself safe and you don't do what you need to do to make sure that you are protecting yourself and your family. But this is to say that first and foremost, you need to walk in all of this in peace. You do not need to be freaking out. Go about your day the way you normally do. Go to the store the way that you normally do. Do not get caught up in the frenzy because all that's going to do is stress you out. The stress is not good because stress will impede on your immune system and it will keep you from being your best self. Not only that, from a spiritual sense, God is always there. He's always protecting us. He's definitely protecting his people. And as long as you believe in him, as long as you're putting your faith and your trust in him, there's a lot of people putting their faith in the food they're buying from the store. There's a lot of people putting their faith in other people or in faith in things being available. You don't know what the future holds. You do not know. You can't control the future. So all you can do is live for today. All you can do is do your best. Stay in the word of God, because there is power in his word. There's a lot of Christians that don't believe in God's power, and it's really unsettling because I remember I visited a church a couple of months ago, and this young pastor literally was telling the congregation that basically that, they can't be healed, that the miracle, those sign gifts are not there anymore, and just all types of stuff he was just saying. And I'm just like, well, if you believe that, then that's what you're going to receive in your life. If you don't believe that God is actually going to do anything wonderful in your life, and that all those miracles, all that stuff he did before in the Bible is just done, it's old, and it's not relevant anymore, then that's exactly what you're going to get in your life. So from the spiritual aspect, know that God is in control. He's in control of the situation. What's interesting to me is that this is so close to Easter. Easter is right around the corner. And as we know, Easter is a celebration of Christ's death, burial, and resurrection, as well as celebrating and remembering the Passover. If you remember in the Word of God, where the Israelites, they were delivered from Egypt, and the Passover represents when God sent the plagues into Egypt and instructed the people to put blood of a lamb across their doorposts so that those plagues, actually it was like the last one, the spirit, that death spirit would pass through that came to get the firstborn. So it's, if you believe that you are covered by the blood of the lamb, which is Jesus Christ, through his death, burial, and resurrection, then you should not be walking in fear. This is definitely, everything that's going on has definitely exposed, who is really walking by faith and who's not walking by faith, who really believes in God's power and Christ's power and who really does not believe in Christ's power. Don't get caught up in doubt and disbelief. You cannot walk the Christian walk if you are walking in doubt and walking in disbelief. it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work that way. And God reminds us plenty of times in his word to fear not, to trust him, to believe, to call forth those things that be as not as though they were, which is really speaking the opposite of what you see, which is really a manifestation. That's where manifestation comes from. It's the big thing. Everyone talks about manifesting their dreams, but manifesting is a biblical principle. It is something found in the Bible. So that's the spiritual sense. And as I said before, the physical sense, make sure that you aren't stressing out. Make sure that you are being calm and in peace, because for parents, if you have children, if your children see you freaking out, then they're going to freak out too. They're going to get scared. So you don't want to pass that on to them and have a household of people who are just fearful and worried about, where their next meal is coming from, worried about, is there going to be enough for everyone? Stay in peace, pray about it. God is a provider as well. The second tip is practice good hygiene. This is so important. Another thing that the coronavirus pandemic has shown is that there are a lot of people out here that have not been using really good hygiene habits at all. And I mean, we literally, what was it? We had like a TV show host that literally just admitted that she doesn't wash her hands after using the bathroom at home, and didn't see a reason why. And it's like, well, even though you're at home, you still need to wash your hands, because you're cooking food. You might have guests over. Now they're eating food and you didn't wash your hands after using the bathroom. Like, it's crazy. I've talked to people who just didn't know that they needed to be washing their hands or using hand sanitizer after handling money. I've seen people literally holding box cutters in their mouth and talking about they put dollars and stuff in their mouth. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So we wonder why a lot of this stuff starts to grow and replicate, and why we have different diseases and viruses that come about, because some of it is hygiene. I mean, if you go back and look at medieval times where only rich people were taking baths and the regular common people were not, and you see how they were battling diseases all the time, left and right. I think because we live in America and we think that, oh, everything is so clean and this is clean. Everyone's idea of clean is not the same. So take those extra precautions. It's great that people are buying hand sanitizer and cleaning, hopefully cleaning their home, and any other space that's like a community space, libraries, all of that, public transportation system. That's great that people are doing that, but we need to continue that. Even when all this dies down, you still need to practice good hygiene. You still need to think not just about yourself, but also protecting other people. And that's part of it, is your hygiene. So number 3 is going to be fill your body and boost your immune system with nutrient-rich foods. This is another thing I've noticed in the store as people are buying items. I don't see people buying a lot of supplements. I don't see them buying a lot of foods that are nutrient rich. I do see them buying a lot of perishables, and I get it. Non-perishables. I do get it, because you want something that lasts a long time. However, if you're getting like cookies and chips and cakes and just things that are processed foods, that's really a no-go. It's a no-go, because that's not helping your immune system at all. This is not the time to be stuffing your face with processed foods. It just isn't. You need to be getting in as much of those great organic natural foods as possible, or buying stuff that has very little ingredients, and ingredients that you actually can pronounce, that you know what they are. So yeah, as I'm walking around, I'm in Sprouts, and as I'm walking around, I see that people were buying up all the bananas, because people automatically think, oh, potassium, let me get the bananas. But there's other foods that have tremendous amount of health benefits that people just were looking over. I mean, there were so many apples that were there, and it's like, apples are great for like reducing mucus in the body. There's so many benefits of apples, and oranges. There were so many oranges. I know, like, I bought like a couple of bags of the cuties, the little tangerines. There were so many of those left, and they were on sale for like $1.77, but nobody was buying them. And it doesn't surprise me, because for the longest time, for years, I would go to like either like potlucks or buffets, and would always notice that the fruit table, the vegetable table was always full. Nobody would touch it. No one. And I'm kind of happy. I was like happy about it because I'm like, okay, well, I'll just take the fruit. If you don't want it, shoot, give me the whole platter, because I'd rather eat that natural fruit, that natural sugar, than to get cookies and cakes and all that. But all the cookies and cakes and that particular part of the table, oh, that would always be gone. People would eat all of that. And it's like, you cannot eat a bunch of that and then expect to be healthy. Food is fuel. You need to fuel your body. Somebody said something really profound like years ago that basically was like, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. If you are constantly always living a great healthy lifestyle, you're exercising, you're drinking water. Water is good because water flushes your body out. Not enough people are detoxing. You have to detox your body. And I'm not going to go too long on this, because this can be a whole nother video about, proper eating and what you should be doing as far as maintaining a healthy diet. When it comes to, flushing toxins and stuff out of your body. And I get it. A lot of the stuff sometimes, it is a bit on the more expensive side when you're thinking about like organic and you're trying to buy things that have better quality ingredients in it. But you have to ask yourself, why is that? Why is it that that stuff is more expensive, but all the stuff that's not good for you is really cheap? So that's something to consider. Even if you have to put aside a small budget every single month and keep putting into that budget so you can buy the better foods, the better stuff for you, then do it. Sometimes you can even find some of these brands at the dollar store if you look for it. You just look, even if you have to just go back every single week and just see what do they have, because sometimes they have some really great stuff in there that is like some of this organic canned stuff or rice and things like that is at the dollar store, even peanut butter. So, but in addition to that, make sure, again, that when this thing is all over, it blows over, that you continue a healthy eating habit. You continue healthy eating habits. Stay out of the fast food restaurants. I see it all the time. People jam-packed at McDonald's, people in Taco Bell, and I get it. The food is inexpensive and it's quick. And it's just like, if you have the means to spend a little bit more, then spend a little bit more. Before I move along to the next point, I want to add in that drink water. You have to be drinking water. It is so important. So important. So remember that. Number 4 is going to be resourceful and respectful. And I'm saying that because y'all, we got people out here fighting over tissue paper. That's crazy. People are fighting over tissue paper. We've seen the little pictures and steals on Facebook and all types of social media, and that's crazy. Guys, we have to also think about the elderly people that can't necessarily get to the store and can't necessarily be in the crowds like that and trying to get tissue paper and get water and get some of the things they need. And this is just kind of a reminder for us to look out for one another and be kind to one another, because at the end of the day, we're all in this together. And, make sure that, hey, if you do have a neighbor that's elderly and you do have, you're in a neighborhood, there's a lot of children or whatever it is, make sure that those two groups are the two groups that most definitely have what they need, because they're the ones that are more, I guess, at risk. So it's just let's make sure that we are looking out for Mr. So-and-so and Mrs. So-and-so that lives around the corner that may be, 60 plus years old, and they can't get out the way that they used to get out. So make sure of that. And then not only that, I remember seeing a post on Facebook where a lady was talking about how she was just fed up. She literally said all she could do was cry because she couldn't get wipes for her baby, because everybody bought everything, because everyone's in this gotta get this, I gotta get it. And the thing is, when you start seeing shelves like that and everything starts looking scarce, that's when people kind of take it up a notch, because then they feel oh, let me get whatever I can so I don't miss out. But here's the part of being resourceful. So I'm going to tell you some ways you can be resourceful. So one of it is cooking meals that last a long time, that feed a lot of people. And of course, that's going to be some of your beans and rice meals. I definitely recommend looking at like Caribbean cooking, looking at Asian cooking, looking at these different cultural cuisines where it feeds a lot of people and it lasts a long time, where you have stuff left over. Again, we want to make sure that, you know, our elderly friends are able to get something as well, or anyone who's like disabled, or anyone who kind of fits into a category where they can't necessarily get out and get stuff. So even if you want to buy extra for them, like think about them and be like, hey, I'll just go shop for you so I can get you something. So definitely when you're out in the stores, buy what you need and don't go overboard. Buy exactly what you need, even if you have to write it down, pre-calculate it, figure out how, you know, how much of whatever it is that you guys use, your family uses, if you have to. Now, some people might be like, oh my gosh, really? But if you have to, when it comes to like wipes or anything like that, reuse a towel. Take a washcloth and reuse that, you know, if need be. When it comes to using the washcloth, I mean, yes, it's going to be gross, but you do what you got to do when you see that there's no tissue paper available in the store. So if it comes to that where it's like it's gone some weeks and there's still no tissue paper, you might have to go to that. But you know, this is a point where we have to like dig into survival skills. And I'm talking about Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, any wilderness type training that you have, because we're not always going to have technology. You know, technology may not always be available to help you out. Do you know how to make a fire? Do you know how to like gather up like food? Do you know how to like plant certain kinds of fruits and veggies? Like, are you skilled like that? Because be prepared, because it's just like, if you're not able to go to the grocery store, if you're not able to have the amenities that you have, then what are you going to do? Do you have a plan? So that's something to think about. You know, sit down with your family and think about what you guys would do in certain situations so that everybody is prepared and everybody knows what to expect. So number 5 is going to be get rest and bond with your family. This is so important. You know, while school is canceled and people are being encouraged to work from home, this is a good time for everyone to be with their families and bond. Ask your children, you know, how things are going at school. Really take that time to build deeper connections with them. This is the good part about this, where it's forcing everybody to be at home. Don't be on your phone. Don't sit and, you know, be in front of the TV. Don't just throw a tablet in your child's face. Like, actually play games. Like, let's go back to like 1995 or let's go further. Let's go to like 1992 when all those shows were on, Full House, Family Matters, all that. Like, let's go back to that. So let's break out Twister, let's break out Monopoly, let's break out some of these old games, these old school games that are still very effective, and let's get to playing them and having a good time while you're at home. And also, if you need to, go outside, you know, because kind of being inside all the time is not really good either, because you're circulating the same air. And unless, you know, you keep the windows open, which I recommend opening the windows, particularly here in California, it's been a little chilly, so there's been a nice breeze. So make sure you do open the windows, get some fresh air, go outside if you need to, and then play in the grass, whatever you need to do, but go outside. Get some sun. If the sun is out, get some natural vitamin D. This is important for your health as well. Don't get so locked inside where, you know, you're not getting fresh air, you're not getting sun, and, you know, and you're not being active. Our bodies were meant to move and meant to be active. So make sure that you do that as well. And again, unless you are sick and you do need to just stay rested, rest. But that's a huge thing too, is getting enough sleep. So in addition to bonding with your family and being inside and kind of going out periodically when you need to, also get your rest. So if you are actually sick, or you do have symptoms or whatever, and you've been told to stay home, please stay home. Like, stay home and get sleep. Your body repairs itself while you're sleeping, so you need to do that in addition to everything else. So make sure. So let's just review. So number 1, don't have fear, walk in peace, take your practical steps, but walk in peace. Do not fear. You don't want to create additional stress for yourself because you're just going to release stress hormones that's going to impede on your immune system. Number 2, practice proper hygiene now and even when everything dies down. Don't slip up on that. Make sure that you're staying up on that. Your kids are staying up on that. Your dog is staying up on that. Like, make sure everybody, all the way down to the pets, make sure everybody is clean and is practicing good hygiene. Number 3, fuel your body and your immune system with nutrient-rich foods. Do your research. We have Google. So do your research. Find all the foods that have like significant benefits. There's so many. It's like you can't even really name all of them all at once. You have to really write every single one down. Take notes of that. See what you can make out of that. See what kind of foods you can create out of that. So the next time you go to the grocery store, those are some items that you can buy, because I'm pretty sure they're going to be on the shelves. So those are some things that you can buy as well. Number 4, be respectful and be resourceful. So remember, be resourceful. Don't buy more than what you need. Really calculate how much everyone uses in your house and what you need, and think about, those who can't necessarily get to the store, like the elderly, disabled, definitely looking out for children. With schools being canceled, I also was reading that there's some children that really depend on school for meals. And so, if you can in any way, helping them out as well, like volunteering. Saw something about volunteering at like food banks and things like that, to help out the children who are in need. And just the many people who may be in need that are dependent on meals from certain places. So again, this is just a hospitality thing. This is a thing of just kind of like really being kind to each other and looking out for each other, because again, like I said, we're in this together, and if we can come together as a people and come together as a society, then we can help to not only prevent sickness and disease, but we can also help to build a better future together. In addition to being resourceful, which I didn't mention earlier, was about the water, because this is a huge thing. People just buying up so much water, literally to the point where there's a limit now. Everywhere you go, there's like only a limit on how much you can buy. So if you have a filter at your home, please use it. Use that filter. Even if you have to go buy one, again, it may be a little costly, but just think about how much money you're really spending by buying like all this water, buying all this stuff, when you could be more resourceful and just have like a filter to put on your faucet that will filter out the waters, the chemicals, all of that. So again, number 5 is get some rest and bond with your family. Hopefully you guys found this helpful and was able to grab some really helpful tips from this video. You don't always have to, agree with everything, but as long as something resonates with you, that's all that matters. So I will see you guys on the next video. Have a great day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and God bless.